Paul David Brote, 24 September 2016. Hexagonal lens flares. Okay, you hear many false Nibiru researchers promoting the sun simulator or fake sun in front of the sun, and that supposedly it is able to see hexagonal flares off of it because the supposed sun simulator is hexagonal. Well, first of all, the sun simulator, yes, there are patents for it, but it is too expensive for the government to actually have implemented that, and that would have to be way outside Earth's magnetic field, out of orbit, and there's too many logistics involved as far as controlling that. Okay, that's just ridiculous. That's not what they did. They're not trying to hide what's happening to the sun with a sun simulator, because first of all, the hexagonal lens flares, anybody can look it up on the internet and find out why their lens flares are hexagonal. That is due to the aperture, usually has 6 blades to it, of the camera. The aperture usually has 6 blades. Sometimes they might have 8, sometimes 5. That's why some people will have 5-sided lens flares. Some people will have 8-sided lens flares. That's just the way the cameras are. It has nothing to do with a sun simulator in front of the sun. If anything, what they're doing is they have a plasma device in low Earth orbit, and they're using the sun to hide the device. They're using the glare of the sun to hide the device. Because there are many pictures out there. I don't have any myself, and I'm not going to infringe on anyone else's work for that they have taken. But a lot of times you will see in the morning, you just might see a little orb off to the side, like it might look kind of like this, but it'll be yellow. It'll look like maybe a very small sun or Venus on steroids. Okay, in the morning you might see one off to the right, and in the evening you might see it off to the left. Why? Because it's not in line with the sun, because it is in our atmosphere, and they cannot keep it perfectly in front of the sun from all angles. As the plasma device, they only have one, as far as I would fathom, one near the sun, using the sun to hide the sun's glare to hide the device. Okay, it's not the other way around. There's not a sun simulator. Okay, the sun is heating up, the Earth is heating up, the sun is giving off more energy as the black star is pulling a lot more energy from the galactic core through the sun. Okay, so when you see, there's a lot of things that sensationalist and false Nibiru researchers will show you, that all these different things that you might see in our sky are, oh, that's an orb and it's being obfuscated by something else, and here's another planet here. No, those are just flares and refractions, and all these odd things that show up, double refractions and reflections, all these planets that you can make show up, especially when you use a lot of these researchers say, well, I used this extra lens here and extra lens there. Well, those extra lenses will cause extra lens refractions and extra lens anomalies. You can get striped planets. Now, if I had got everything zoomed out in just the right way, I could have a totally second sun right here, plus other orbitals all around the sun. Well, what's ridiculous is you have all these people looking at the sun, trying to find Nibiru by the sun, when we know serious researchers know that it is not by the sun. The electromagnetic pole migration and the seismic activity definitely show that it is towards the summer side behind us during summer or late spring months. It is behind us. It is not near the sun. The only thing that would be near the sun is a low Earth orbit plasma field generator, which would ionize the atmosphere and strengthen the shields of our magnetosphere, thereby what the government calls in order to protect their communications is what it's for. Because when you have too much solar activity coming in, when our magnetosphere and our shields are not up strong enough, then it interferes with communication, and that would be a huge sign to the people on the planet, to the sheep, that something is different. See, look, all this stuff here. Now, if you do it just right, you make this out to look like the Death Star. Here's your striped planet again. With these lens flares, you make all kinds of planets and huge orbs show up in the atmosphere. Now, what would cause the upside down rainbows and the red rainbows would be a plasma device in our atmosphere pointed towards the atmosphere, not the Earth, but pointed towards the atmosphere. Okay, and that would give you rainbows up above that would be upside down or backwards, and would also cause huge plasma bubbles in the atmosphere, usually looking red, but also translucent. They're not solid objects. You can tell with your naked eye they're not solid objects. And I myself have seen the actual object in question, and nothing that I have seen except for one photograph. It was an obscure photograph, because any photograph you're actually going to see of the object is going to be obscure. It's hard to see, and there's only certain windows during the year where you'll be able to see it. And right now is not one of those times of the year when you can see it. It is on basically the other side of the solar system at this moment. And there's nothing you're going to be able to see. It's like looking for a black dot in a black sky. You're not going to see it, especially during the daytime. You're not going to see it. Ooh, here's a second sun. If you do it just right, it'd look like a Death Star. There's nothing in these photos here that I've taken. This is just with me just playing around and seeing putting different sunglasses in front of my camera, my cheap little camera. What we can pick up, you can make all kinds of things. This is ridiculous. Okay, these people that are supposed Nibiru researchers, and they say, well, someone please explain to me how you get hexagonal lens flares. Well, if you go look it up on the internet, my friend, as to how hexagonal lens flares or pentagonal 5-sided or 8-sided lens flares can show up on these cameras, it's not from a sun simulator. It's just the aperture of the blades, or the blades of the aperture of anyone's camera. And you're going to have lens flares of all kinds of shapes and sizes, just from the lenses themselves. And the more lenses you add, the more anomalies you're going to have in your picture, especially ones that you can't see with your naked eye. Now, if you're a true Nibiru researcher, in order to take care of, because the sun is glaring. We've had 2014 highest year on record, 2015 hottest year on record, 2016 so far is the hottest year on record. as Terrell at Terrell Blackstar confirms, the last 14 or 15 out of 16 past years have been the hottest years on record. Big clue. Okay, the sun's getting brighter, just as Isaiah prophesied. And what, 60:19? Correct me if I'm wrong on that, just off the top of my head. Okay, the sun's going to get brighter and hotter. Okay, here's the device which I went over briefly in my previous 30-minute video. This is the device. If you look here at the refraction, the source, circular, square, hard to see, circular, square, matches up with the device. That was patented, not only patented also, you know, the sun simulators were patented decades ago. This device was also patented, but this device here was also actually built, implemented, and in operational order years ago. And what it does is plasma at the back end, or source of the back end, power source, goes through the various lenses, comes out, hits the upper atmosphere, charges it up, which bolsters our magnetic fields of our Earth, which also works in conjunction and on the same principles as the aluminum and barium in the chemtrails. I also noticed that past week the chemtrails have gone down, as far as I've noticed, during the day, because we are on actually the other side of the solar system from where the black star is right now, or Hercules, Nibiru, okay, the brown dwarf. Although you will still see them chemtrailing. I don't see it too much in the morning because my field of view in the morning is not that great. But I know I definitely see them still chemtrailing when the sun goes down. Why? Because this device is not directly in line when the sun's going down. This device is in lower in orbit around the Earth, so you'll see it from where the sun is. When the sun's going down, you'll see it off to the left. And I've seen pictures, people have had it where when the sun's coming up, they'll see it off to the right. Why? Because it's closer to us. Okay? It'll stay on the inner circle closer to us, inner atmosphere, or there in the Earth orbit. All right, thank you for joining me. Again, this is Paul David Brote, 9/24/2016. Take care.